All right, let's talk about type sevens and what does it look like to approach Enneagram work from the lens of already whole for a type seven. And with type sevens, we typically hear the advice given to try to have more structure, try to be more disciplined, try to stick to a routine, right? And if you notice, a lot of the advice given to us to become more healthy is to balance out the type structures patterned behavior so that that doesn't pull us too far into an unbalanced way. And it makes sense if we are just looking at this as a set of behaviors and not recognizing where the behaviors are coming from and how removing or modifying someone's patterned behavior, if that pattern is tied to what they perceive as their very survival, is threatening. I would even say violent, right? If I know, it would be like me saying, oh, just stop going to the grocery store. Like, well, if I don't go to the grocery store, I won't get food. And if I don't get food, I can't eat. And then I die. So you're asking me to stop a behavior that is tied to my very survival. And that feels abusive. That feels violent. That feels uncompassionate. That makes me panicked. Oh my gosh, I gotta stop going to the grocery store. What is that going to mean? As opposed to if I were to say, okay, you're trying to go to the grocery store to get food to provide for your family. But when you go every single day and you buy the same amount of food every single day for a week, but you buy it every day and now you have a surplus and now food is rotting and now your house smells disgusting because there's rotting food everywhere because you can't stop buying food every time you go to the grocery store. You've taken what is a behavior that should help you survive, but now that it's being overdone is actually hurting you. But rather than me just saying, oh, just stop going to the grocery store because that's so tied in with your belief that I need this food to live, which is true, we actually want to start rewriting the narrative and providing another source for that need that will be more effective for you, right? So I can say, keep going to the grocery store, go once a week, and on the off days, go to the plant store and buy some plants that will make food for you. And as those plants make food, you can pick them and you can eat them. And we can lower the amount of waste in your house. We can give you another activity that still feeds that need of, I got to eat. I got to have a food source of some kind. And I can still do my pattern behavior, but I'm just going to do it a little less. And now I have other food sources. So my basic need to survive is not feeling threatened. Stop going to the grocery stores. I'm going to die. I don't want to threaten my base survival needs because all that's going to do is send the nervous system into dysregulation and freak out. I'm going to cling more tightly to my survival place because in my survival pattern behavior because, oh my gosh, they're asking me to take away the thing that makes me survive. Right? And none of this is conscious, but this is what it's like to our nervous system when we try to just swap out behaviors. Oh my gosh, sevens are impulsive. Okay, we'll just be really structured, right? That impulsivity of sevens is tied to a logic that says my ability to shift, my ability to leave one place and go to another, my ability to have options for myself beyond where I'm just at right now is what keeps me safe, right? The person who has been ambushed is always going to be looking behind their back and making sure there's an exit somewhere nearby because their nervous system has been conditioned through their trauma to always be ready for an ambush and therefore always look behind and always know where the exits are. Now, someone might come in and say to that person, oh my gosh, you're so paranoid. Why are you always looking for exits? What, you don't like being with us? You don't want to be around us, and make judgments around why that person is doing that kind of behavior. But the compassionate response is, why are you always looking for exits? What happened? What are you afraid of? And is that fear warranted in this situation? Because sometimes it is. And that's the thing that nobody wants to talk about Enneagram types and our defense mechanisms and all of that. Sometimes the very thing we are afraid of happens or could happen. And so to blindly say, well, if you were really healthy, you wouldn't have your defense mechanisms around. It's like, yeah, but sometimes I need them. Sometimes I'm in a position where I might be ambushed. And so I want to keep that defense mechanism so that I can live. And other times, I'm not going to be ambushed. And I want to release that defense mechanism so I can enjoy what is here and not always be ready to run out the door. Right? It just depends on, is this the environment for me to activate my defense mechanism? Or is this an environment for me to relax my defense mechanism? And the problem is, it's not always easy to relax the defense mechanism because our bodies love being alive. So they're like, you know what, this kept me alive. So let's just keep this activated all the time. And the problem is with sevens, for example, they want to savor and enjoy the experience, but they never can if they're nervous that it might end, or some bad guy is going to come in, or some pain or some darkness or some sadness is going to come in at any minute. That's who's ambushing the sevens, is pain. If they're looking out, okay, looking over their shoulder, everybody okay? Any pain going to happen? Is this party going to end anytime soon? Oh my gosh, it looks like it's winding down. Oh my gosh, it looks like that person is like maybe not happy and walking my way. I know where the exit is. Let's go. Right? Sevens want to enjoy and delight in and have all the fun. But the fear of being ambushed by pain keeps them, again, from being present and actually getting what they want. It's the same with every single type. The fear of the party ending keeps the seven from enjoying the party. And I mean party as a figure of speech. Most sevens I know don't love parties. So let's just take that stereotype out for a minute. If you're a seven who loves parties, great. But what I mean by party is the enjoyable activity, right? One of my best friends is a seven. And every time we get together and have a girls' trip, because she lives in another state, I live in another state, we don't get to see each other in person very often. But every time that we're together, every once in a while, she will share how she's so sad that this is going to end. Even if we're like on day 1 or day 2, she's so sad. She knows that the end is coming. And so sometimes she lets it creep in to the present. And she's doing her own Enneagram work and she's super healthy and amazing. And so she notices that. And then she just comes back and is like, but it's not over right now. So she can work with that. She can let go of her defense mechanism of always, when is it going to end? When is the pain going to come? When is the letdown going to come? She's learned to be able to relax that because she doesn't want that to rob her of the enjoyment of this moment. We don't want to let that fear seep in and color the beautiful thing that is right here. So that's the work of the 7. I'm not chasing happiness. I'm running from pain. I trick myself into thinking I'm chasing happiness, but I'm actually running from pain. And as I run from pain, I miss the happiness that is right here. So I feel like it's always in the next thing. It's always at the next event. It's always in the next trip. Oh, I can't wait to plan the next trip. Oh, I can't wait to do the next thing. And it's like, yeah, but we're doing something really fun right now. And so as the 7 works with that, they're able to get what they really want, that satisfaction, that joy, that like this moment couldn't get any better. And I am fully present and savoring it. Savoring is a really powerful way for type 7s to work with their type, to accelerate their type. Sorry, I had to let my dog out. Of course, there would be a distraction in the middle of my type 7 video. 7s are the distraction queens and kings, and I love it. So why this ties into already whole is it assumes and it forces us to acknowledge that this moment is enough for me. I don't need to heighten it. I don't need to look to the future. I don't need to be afraid of when it will end. If I'm already whole, then my presence in this moment is enough. And this moment is enough. And I'm enough. Without needing to add anything more, without needing to defend against any pain. And there's kind of a link between the 7 and the 6, because the 7 can also cut themselves off from the body. Because not to cut themselves off from their fear, although, yeah, probably also, but to cut themselves off from their pain, right? And the problem is, if I cut myself off from any feeling of pain, I am rejecting and resisting that pain as part of the human experience. And as I reject and resist that pain as a part of the human experience, I cut myself off from really sinking into the pleasure that is a part of the human experience. Pain and pleasure operate on a spectrum. The greater I allow myself to experience pain, the greater my capacity for pleasure. So if I'm like, I never get to feel any pain, then I really don't ever get to feel that much pleasure. And I kind of keep myself from going too deep into either one. And then I never feel satisfied. And then the 7 is always chasing more. That's why I always need more. I always need more because I am limiting my ability to enjoy, because if I go too far this way, I might go too far this way. I can't really, I mean, if you think about it, even just on a tactile way, if I have very sensitive skin, then not only does the touch, very light touch, oh, I can feel it, it feels so good. Also, a pinch, I feel it, it feels so painful, right? The higher my sensitivity, the more I can feel pleasure and the more I can feel pain. If I numb, if I have thick skin, if I cut off, then I'm kind of always empty of pleasure, but I'm also avoiding pain. Is that what I want? Is that what I want? And that's for each person to decide. You know, a lot of this healing language, I tell my clients, this could be available to you if you wanted to do this work. And also, you may feel like, I don't want to. I'm not ready. I like my thick skin. I know it's keeping me from experiencing the most pleasure I could. I'm just not ready. Okay. You're already whole. You're already whole. We're just playing around with what kinds of experiences could you have in this life, in this body, and in this situation of being a human. What kinds of experiences could be available to you? What are you cutting yourself off from? What are you not allowing? And is that really getting you what you want or keeping you from never actually reaching it? Never actually reaching it. And then you get to choose. We all get to choose. That's the cool thing about being humans. We get to choose what we put in our mouths, what we put in our minds, what we put on our skin, what we wear, where we eat, what we do, what we want to think about, what kind of healing we want to do. It's all up to us. And so now that we realize, okay, this is why I'm doing it. This is my need. This is the fear that keeps me from getting that need met. What do I want to choose? Because yeah, it may not sound very appealing to say, oh, if I increase my capacity for pleasure, I'm also going to have to increase my capacity for pain. But here's the thing, 7s, I know a lot of 7s who have a really high tolerance for pain, like ridiculously high tolerance for pain. And I'm sure there's 7s who don't. I don't know that 7s are afraid of pain. I think 7s are afraid of being stuck in pain. And if we see this as a spectrum, what happens with the spectrum? You never stay in one place, which is actually lovely for sevens, because sevens are these they naturally instinctively know that life is ever flowing and we never know where it's going to go. That's the excitement that sevens love, is like, I don't know where I'm going to end up. And I don't want to know where I'm going to end up. I like the mystery. It's frustrating sometimes because I'm like, I just want to know. But then also I kind of like don't. Like if somebody told a type 7, all right, here's your whole life. This is all the things you're going to do. And this is, now you know exactly how it's going to go down. I mean, maybe a part of them would be like, yeah, that'd be kind of nice. But then another part would be like, oh, it's kind of boring. I'm like stuck to this plan. I mean, I like it, but like, I kind of like not knowing and flowing and finding my way. And oh my gosh, I never knew that this party existed. And now I'm here. I don't know why I keep using party, because I know sevens aren't that into parties, but oh my gosh, I walk into a restaurant. I've never tasted any of these things. Give me one of everything. I want to experience the new, the ever unfolding, the unique things that I could never have imagined, but oh my gosh, look, they're here. I want to see things I've never seen, taste things I've never tasted, meet people I've never met. That's what makes life exciting. That's the natural feeling of the 7, is that I never want to be stuck. I want to ever flow. And the thing is, ever flowing has to include pain, but it will never keep you stuck in pain. Actually, when we try to keep ourselves stuck in pleasure, we actually hamstring ourselves, create this rigidity around ourselves that ends up leading to pain we can't escape. That's the trick. If I embrace it as part of the flow, I know I will never remain there. If I try to never experience it, it will find me in ways that I cannot escape. So while it may not feel particularly lovely to say, expand your capacity for pain, you'll expand your capacity for pleasure, I don't know that 7s are afraid of pain. They're just afraid of being stuck in pain. And this release, this surrender to the flow, including pain, to the already wholeness, including pain, actually, it's not so bad. It lets you be human to the fullest extent. And you will find yourself always flowing, always in movement, because you're already whole.